Welcome back to our last series episode on all of the 12 houses with Prash Trivedi. We started this series a year ago, and I can't believe that we're on the last house. This is a house that I'm most interested in, as it's had a personal effect on my life. And I think it's a house that can be quite misunderstood at times. So I'm so excited to get PT's interpretation on this 12th and final house. PT, would you please illuminate us?
Yes, I mean, this is a lot of responsibility in this house, right? Like, this is the final house, and anything which is the final thing carries a lot of responsibility with it. So, like, we'll go back to 11th again, because we always start with the previous house. That's how we start everything. And there we learn how to deal with a group, with many different kind of beings. We have learned that lesson. Okay, we can handle ourselves, in a group, which means like we can keep our ego in check, right? We can be practical and amicable at the same time, And so 11th house teaches a lot of things. It's a very strong test, 11th house test. And if we have passed that test of 11th house, if we are humble, like if we are caring, if we are that thing as a whole, all those things come out in a group, what your psychology really is, so, and we have done that. And so then we are ready for the final test, right? 12th will be because it's the exit, right? It's considered the exit of this body, the physical body is first house. Okay. And in 12th, physical body finishes, means leaving this world. We leave the physical body. Okay, so if you're leaving the physical body, then 12th house has something to do with letting go.
Letting go.
Giving up, right? And giving up the physical body is a big thing, right? Like for people, because they've stayed with it for so long, they get so attached to it.
It's the active detachment.
Yeah, because you have used it for so long, like 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, you have been in it. So there's obviously some attachment developed to that thing, your tool, So, but we have to leave this tool in this house. Okay, so it's also called a foreign house. Okay, in that way, in the chart, which is like 4th house is your homeland, and 12th is the foreign. So, for going to a foreign place, what do you have to do? You have to leave homeland, right? So again, it's the exercise of letting go only. So whether it's letting go of first house, whether it's letting go of 4th house, or letting go of any house, it comes in the 12th, letting go. Okay, so if we have to get all the cycle of birth and death, okay, then we can't have any attachments, not just to our own body, but to anything or stuff on earth. If we have any attachment left to anything on earth, we're bound to come back here again.
Oh, wow.
As a whole, right? So that's a 12th house as a whole. Not just your own body or anything like that. So that's why beings have like, I wish I had done that, like, in my life, wish I was able to do that or something. Even if you just have one thing like that. And then another life, just in order to try and do that, right? Or wish I had a chance to be this or that kind of thing. So any of these kind of even subconscious things or conscious things or mental things or mental desires or attachments to a place, to a house, to anything, to people, to anything here, sucks you back into the loop. So that is where the whole 12th house thing comes into play. For example, it's like deep sleep, 12th house, right? It represents deep sleep. Like, for example, when you go to sleep and then you reach deep sleep stage, like, which is past dreams and everything like that, when you don't have dreams or anything, then you don't know anything. You have no idea of time. Yourself also ceases to exist at the time. Yourself is not. There can't be any desire or any attachment in that period of time of deep sleep, right? That's a state beyond any kind of attachment to anything or being or that thing, But to consciously get to that state while being, you know, uh, awake and conscious is the whole point of 12th house.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. While being awake, reaching that
Oh,
point.
yeah.
So, like, because these are sleep houses, 4th, 8th, 12th, this triangle. So we are coming to the final part of the triangle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in 8th house, we were still having dreams and prophetic dreams or whatever visions and that thing while sleeping. 4th house sleep started. You rested in your bed and you're uncomfortable. Now you're having that 8th house experience. And then you reach 12th house experience. 12th house experience is like nothing. The void, you know, like, so it's a big thing, like the sea, like ocean, you know. So like a 4th house was like a pond, you know, like a water, that thing from which a stream came out and it became a river in the 8th house. But the river fell into the ocean of 12th house.
Wow.
Okay. So we have reached that big thing. And so ocean, you like you're there in the middle, you don't know where you are, like in the middle of the ocean. What is
Yeah.
what?
Uttara Bhadrapada is in Pisces, the 12th house, and it's the
Yeah.
vast oceans.
And that thing, yeah. So
Yeah.
so that is the heart of it. Yes. So you understanding it's like that level of thing. So and that finishes everything, you know, like attachment and stuff like that. And
Wow.
yeah, so 12th house is like let it all go sort of
Whew.
house. So
No
but
wonder it's the last one, because
it's the
you
last
couldn't, yeah, you couldn't do that in the beginning of the
yeah.
journey.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it requires. I mean, 11th house test with Saturn test, 10th and 11th house are the tests which are very strong tests. You know.
And then you
So
just let it all go.
yeah, but letting it all go, like Jay is saying, so
Wow.
that you can go to another world.
So it's breaking out of the matrix.
Yes, you know, 8th house we started the journey, breaking, understanding there is a matrix. Even you come to know in 8th house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now in 12th it's completing that. Because by the first 7 houses you are just establishing yourself you're establishing it. 8th you learn what is a matrix. 9th you come to know what this is the way out of the matrix. 10th and 11th you apply, and 12th you finally do it. so, so that is the thing with the 12th house. So they're letting it all go, like in terms of everything, you know. So because if you do, you understand, then you can go to a world which is not Earth, and you can have a different kind of body and different kind of experience than it's on Earth. Because Earth experiences, you know that what it is. It's this body and things can happen and this, whatever it is out there, you know, like, you know, and you are very clear that, like some beings are very clear that they don't want that over and over. This, you know, like they have had enough of, like they understand that what it is, you know, and they're not curious about it anymore, you know.
Yeah.
The curiosity is satisfied, you know. So that state. So 11th is that house is that actually your all curiosities are satisfied. Whatever you could gain or that thing in this earth and stuff, you have already. Yeah, been there, done that. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But the 12th house is more, and then you have learned how to be as well. You know, because if you go to another world, there'll still be beings there, right? You won't be alone. So you have to know how to handle them and how to deal with them and stuff like that. You know, if you're kind of a being which doesn't know how to deal with other beings or situations, then you have a problem, because they won't take you into that world, right? They'll say like, you are that thing, you know, you'll create a disturbance.
Yeah.
Your presence will create a disturbance there. And last thing they want in higher worlds is disturbance. There is one thing which is not allowed. Is disturbance. Like in this world, a lot of disturbance is allowed.
Mhm.
A lot of beings can disturb other beings, and that's what beings are doing all the time, right?
But even here, it's like when the disturbance is so much, they'll even,
Yeah,
create
obviously there are some
messenger.
rules, like even like there are some limits here as well.
Yeah.
But those limits are much more
Yeah.
in the higher worlds. And that will obviously be the case, logically be the case, right? Like it makes logical sense that would be the case.
Mhm.
So that's the whole point. So 11th house is the finishing of everything in that way. You do your actions in 10th house, whatever you have to do in this world, whatever you were supposed to do in 11th, there's no wish remaining anymore. So in the 12th, it becomes easier to let it all go because you don't have any specific desire remaining on this earth plane. Okay. And that's why the 12th is possible. Otherwise, it's not possible. And the thing is, like, even if you don't give up desires, your body you'll have to give up anyway. Right? So 12th takes away anyways. Like a lot of people experience losses and stuff, like anything, which is called a house of loss. I mean, for example, if you get some money and you go and spend it and buy some vegetables or whatever, right? That's called 12th house. Like whenever you are using something, like if you use a vehicle or anything, as you use it, it becomes sort of older and worse, like wear and tear happens. It becomes older and it becomes unusable. After a while, it might become unusable. So that is also automatically 12th house works, and you have a loss of that thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why it's regarded too as a difficult house because loss in the form of death or it's challenging.
Yeah, challenging, but the point is that's happening all the time, whether you want it or not. And people want some people and things or whatever, but you'll have to lose them anyways and things like that. People don't want their loved ones to die or family or whatever, but they also leave them. So 12th house is always happening, whether you want it or not. Right? So if you're conscious enough and you accept the 12th house thing, and then you don't care about that consciously, that's okay. And
wow, that frees you from the attachment.
Yes, so that's it. So that's the whole lesson of the 12th house.
Oh, okay.
But 12th house is not like, okay, if I don't look at it or if I don't look into it and if I just avoid it, it will not happen.
I think that's many people's approach.
Approach, I'll just avoid it.
Yeah.
Completely. But it keeps on happening anyways. It's not, no matter how much you avoid it, it's gonna, and if you embrace it, you know what I'm saying, and if you that thing, then only freedom happens.
Yeah. In a sense too, like how life is temporary and there's the letting go, it makes everything more precious because it's finite.
Yes, finite and confinement also is 12th house. So the sense of confinement. So if you're on earth and feeling a sense of confinement within that, then that is the thing which urges you to give up things here so that you can experience something more bigger and broader and more expansive.
Oh.
Right. So yeah.
And what about the isolation that goes into this house? Like, how does that play? Because with the hospitals and the jails and all being in this house, but what's that isolation factor?
Isolation means, like when they say like there's a problem, everyone dies alone, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. Like when you die, you're alone. Like the moment you leave your physical body.
Yeah, you go through that
there is
alone.
no family, friends. There's nothing there. It's just you, right?
Yeah.
And your own actions and what you have done or not done, or what your level or state of consciousness is. You, just you. There's nobody else. That feeling, like, do you understand, where it all depends on what you have done and your own like self-responsibility and everything. So your whole future journey is going to depend on you as yourself. So out here, when you are alive, obviously there's so many things and people and beings and stuff around you, and so you forget that you can be alone. And beings who are like that feel that aloneness only when they die. because at that moment they'll just be them, like there'll be nobody else for them to deal with. And that, once the spirit comes out of the body, the spirit also has a body at the time, and that body has nothing else to deal with, and it's just so that is what 12th house is. So I mean, you can duplicate that situation while alive and sort of understand it and see that this is going to be the case. So am I self-reliant, and what will make me self-reliant, and what do I have to do in order to sort of deal with that situation when it happens? So like there is another saying that whole life is preparation for death, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole life is. So then you can actually start living your life in a way which is actually preparation for that exit moment. 12th house shows the exit moment. It's the house of the exit, so.
In that exit moment, is it true what they say that you get everything in your life that you did reflected back to you? It's like a review.
I mean, a review will happen later, but you get a memory thing, like of everything, like a fast memory thing.
Like a flash.
Well, like a flash, like a movie, a fast movie.
Oh.
Like from your childhood, like if you have a slideshow, like, like a slideshow of different images.
Yeah.
Of your, like from to your childhood to youth to middle age to old age. Like if you make a collage or like a fast shutter film. Like
so that is true. Yeah. Cause I've seen that
interpreted
interpreted in a lot of movies and
stuff.
That
is the case. But that's not a review. That is just for you to see.
Oh, okay.
Because you're just carrying that all. Like right now. It's like your data.
Yeah. And when does the review happen?
And that happens later once you reach a particular department. Yeah. But review is not going to be your self review.
Oh.
Because how can you be objective about your.
Oh, that's fascinating. And I've seen that in movies too, where it's a department and there's other people reviewing your life.
Yes. So in a Vedic thing, that department is called Yam Raj is department. There's a being called Yam, okay, who is the head of, like, CEO of the department. And that being has a whole department, which the spirits, depending on what they have done or whatever, whether they get birth here again or which realm they'll go to, all of that is decided, and like a sorting thing,
Okay.
like from the airport, which flight you're going to take, like.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the thing. But 12th house is that, like, so like that is the main things of the house, like, which appear like loss to people. Everything in 12th house appears like loss, but it's not exactly loss, actually.
Seems like like the flip is that it's a liberation.
It's a liberation. But it's just a way of how you see it. Yes. So then if people keep on seeing this is loss, then it's, I mean, if somebody had one house and they were living in that house, and it was a small house and it was cramped and they were living in it, but it disappears, something happens, it burns or something, so they'll think it's loss. Okay, but they might get a bigger house to live in after that. Yes. So, but if they kept on living there, then they would never have a chance to see something better than that, whatever they were in. Like, so
exactly, like I was telling you earlier with the loss of let's say like a child that somebody had, it actually could be a good thing, because like if the child had the extra chromosome, what kind of a life would that have given? It would have been very challenging life. So it's like the gain in getting that burden off.
The gain and loss.
Yes.
Yeah, but the gain and loss is not seen that easily, because it requires wisdom and more intelligence to perceive that, and people are not functioning on that level. So that's why 12th house becomes a house of dread, when it should be a very like welcome house, actually. It should be a very welcome house, because it relieves you mostly when you're carrying too much burden and this kind of thing. And to people to understand that, money or something, like people are like just into like accumulating money on this earth, like, and I think, but then 12th house shows that you will not take it with you.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So it always gives you a perspective, a sense of perspective, 12th house, which is necessary for how you actually live on this earth. If you don't have the 12th house perspective, you're probably gonna keep on doing stupid things out there.
So in the 12th house, like people that have predominant placements there, what is the whole thing? So I have a lot of energy there, and I've always had the most vivid dreams, but they don't even, yes, some of them are dreams, but some of them, they're like real. And it's like I go and I talk to people and we commune in this place. What is all that all about?
Yeah. I mean, but that can be 8th house also, like.
Oh,
8th
okay.
house can
And
give
then
dreams
like
and visions.
Visions, future events. Like I've been seeing
dreams
future
and visions,
events.
and that thing. If it connects to 12th house, you get more collective things.
Oh, okay.
As a whole, if it's just 8th house or 1st house, it gives you more personal things.
Oh, okay.
Right. But 12th house is more collective. It makes but ocean is a more collective thing, right?
Oh, okay.
It is more Earth's, like more than half of Earth's surface is ocean, 70%, like from whatever known Earth surface is ocean. So it is a very big collective thing, 12th house. So.
And how does it tie in with the 6th?
And 12th house, I mean, different. If people have a lot of 12th house energies, okay, they should try and exit the matrix. Okay, but not in the way by like having like drugs or things like that. Because a lot of people, 12th house energies get caught up in that. Like,
yeah.
Because they want a sense of freedom and like I have to get out, but they don't know how. So they don't go through the 8, 9, 10, 11, 9, 10, 11 process. Instead, they find a shortcut, which is, immediately like getting out of it. They say, getting, getting out of it. Like, what do drugs do? Like, it make you forget that there is a reality or there is anything, like, or even alcoholic. So anything, where you just rely on that to get a temporary sense of, exit. But that's not a real exit. Like with ayahuasca or anything, you're getting a temporary sense of it, but it's not real. You have to come back to the same reality again. And you're in the same situation and even worse, like than what you started with, So it can turn into house of addictions for people who are not following the 1 to 11, which we went into all the hygiene and this thing and 6,000, all the disciplines, and we went through the whole. People should see the whole from 1st house to 12th house. So there are a lot of people who are skipping any of those things. Then 12th house can become dangerous in that way, because you'll use it just as a way to get out of it, like basically, which will not do you any good. You will not really exit, even if you die in that process with an overdose. You will still come back.
Yeah.
But so there is no actual like liberation in that, So, but that's education. People are not educated like that. If we had proper education on this plane, on Earth, then people won't go towards that anyways. There's no education, so that's why people are going towards those things, because they actually don't know what is gonna actually help them break out of this. This reality. They just know they don't like this reality, and they don't like whatever, and they just want to get out of it. But they don't know how or what. So
suicide, I think, would be coming from this house, right?
Yes, also it's going to relate to that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So like, but taking a lot of drugs is also suicide only. Like it's slower suicide or faster. Depends on, like, all of those things are the same things. But that means you're not obviously taking responsibility of the other houses.
Yeah, you have to do the work.
You have to do the work. So if you just by 12, it's not going to happen. 12 has to be approached. What is the opposite house of 12?
6th.
6th. And remember what we learned in 6th.
Discipline, repetitive action.
Repetitive actions and all of that. That is the backbone. You can't approach 12th house until you have that.
Okay. Need that Virgo energy.
Yeah. And people what do drug addicts and those kind of people want to do? They want to throw the 6,000 to dustbin first, right?
Mhm.
To go to 12.
Mm.
When people start going into the junkie stage of 12, do they do
Mm.
6,000 actions? Do junkies do 6,000 actions?
Mm.
No, right?
Mhm.
That's where they, you know. So that's
And
the
because I'm thinking about like mental asylums as well, being in the
all
12th
of it.
house. So that
Eight
has,
8,000.
oh, okay.
Because I told you once you go into the rabbit hole in the 8th house,
Yeah.
you have to be very careful, like, because a lot of people can go mad in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8th is good enough to drive anyone.
Okay.
Like what they call past the point of, the mental point of.
Yeah.
So the lunacy, like the
Mhm.
lunatic part, like that 8th is good enough for that.
Okay.
12 is more vast than that.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah. In 12th, it's more to do with like actual junkies and things like that who are just
Oh.
wanting to finish it, like, and being out of it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like being out of it completely.
Yeah, I can totally see heroin addicts in this
and these
house.
kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
So
different.
I love to give always one just fun little example of like how a planet functions in a house. So like what would Saturn and Sagittarius in the 12th be like?
And Saturn in 12th, let's just say as a whole, like, so now Saturn is like discipline, like, and structure and right, like, and it is limitation.
Mhm.
Okay. So like Saturn in 12th, for a Saturn in 12th person, it is easier to understand that things won't happen, like even liberation or anything, until you work for it.
Mm.
So you won't see this kind of person. The chance of becoming the heroin addict has decreased quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because you automatically innately understand that. That won't be a foreign concept to that being. That you can't just get it just like that. Like you have to work for it. Like any freedom you get in this multiverse, you have to work for it. So 12th is the house of freedom also, right? But
Mhm.
that you have to work for it. 1 to 11, you have to work to get the 12th,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So that for Saturn in 12 is understood. Okay. So in that way, it brings in a practical, serious aspect to the thing, you know. And you definitely will have a fear of not getting lost in the ocean.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. You won't be that sailor who's not prepared and jumps on the boat and goes into the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, without any preparation or that kind of thing. So there's caution while
Okay.
approaching this house,
Mm, okay. I
rather
heard,
than a rather than a gung ho approach.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard that Saturn in the 12th sometimes can be trouble letting go. What do you think?
I mean that depends. Um, there is always a case of like you worked hard for something, and then you don't want to that thing jeopardize something that you worked hard for. That's all. But otherwise, it can give you a sense. Like Saturn always gives a practical sense. Oh, this thing has outlived its usefulness. You have to let go of it.
Mm,
Because Saturn is a practical planet in the end of the day.
okay.
So practicality wins over everything. So once sometimes you are practical, it's easier to let go. Like
Oh.
only way like Saturn you can get caught in that thing is like if you spend a lot of time and energy on something, and that's why letting it go. That's the
Oh,
only
got it.
catch. That's the only catch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in that way. So both things are there, and being can work in both ways in this, and they can decide to actually let go of that particular aspect. you know, of that thing in order to do a full let go, like a complete let go. So,
Okay.
so that's so it is a big house. I mean, it's I mean, I again, it relates to every house, 12th house. You know, it relates to 6th, it relates to 8, 8th to 11th. I talked about how you prepare. You came to know about the matrix in 8th,
Mhm.
and 9th and 11th you worked, and 12th you're ready. You know, 6th you're working to 12th. Without 1, obviously there's no 12. You know,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4, 4 you're psychologically preparing. You know, 5th developing intelligence and all of that. You know, everything. You know, 7th dealing one-to-one situations. You know, that learning. So whatever I'm saying, like everything up till that thing leads to the 12th house.
Wow.
All the houses. You know, so once you have, let's say it's a 12 house game, this, and you've done the whole 11 houses basically, and you know, 11 levels. Then let's say 12 levels to this game, 11 levels you have done and passed. Then you come to the 12th and you'll try and pass that, the final, and then you're out of this computer simulation game.
Hmm.
Oh,
This computer simulation, I've been noticing 12 is a super significant number. And I was wondering if you could confirm or deny. They say that there are 12 dimensions in this reality. Is that true or false?
dimensions are different, like word. Dimension is a different word. Okay, dimension, I'll do a different talk on dimensions. You know, there are realms. This is one realm. Lok in Sanskrit, realm. This is a realm.
Okay.
Okay. Dimensions are different things like 3D, 4D.
Yes, that's what I'm
5D.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that, because see, 3D world we see, this is a 3D world, right? Because everything we perceive is 3D, right?
Mhm.
And there is a 4th dimension, things in which we don't perceive and don't see, you know. So like even talking anything after 4th becomes too much for people, because even 4th is hard to perceive, like time and things, like, you know, 4th dimension is time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, what is 5D then? You know, this becomes hard for people to perceive. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
like that deep sleep you were talking about in the 12th
yeah,
house, that must
yeah.
be another dimension.
Yes, yes, but like you can see it as 12 dimensions. You know, we can categorize the whole reality as having 12 dimensions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that is a totally different talk. Like I'll have to do for that. You know.
Oh,
But,
okay,
yeah.
cool.
So this is the thing, and 13 is, that's why I consider the important number and the magic number, because
Because it's the
after
breaking out,
breaking out, and then you
the
start
start
again,
of something new.
as well. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but this is a 12 based reality, a 12 signs.
Yeah,
12,
the 12 hours of the day, and yeah,
12,
12 signs.
so it's all of that. So yeah, so that's where we reach the 12th house in, and you've seen the journey. It covers what up till now, whatever we have said in 1 to 12 houses, covers every aspect of human life.
Of life, yeah.
You can't say like this was left.
Yeah, it's all in there. Even your pet, like pets, every little detail is in
Yeah,
every house.
yeah, like there's nothing, like what I'm saying is we have gone through the thing and we have found out that everything has been covered. You can't say like this part of human existence was not covered, you know. Yeah, there's house for everything, and we have done that, and this is when we reach the 12th. So this is the culmination, summation, you know. So that's why 12th is the ocean, you know.
Mm.
It's a big thing, you know. So, and obviously from there, where you go depends on what you have done in your, like everybody's going to leave this physical body, you know, spirit, and then what happens next
Mhm.
will depend on what you have done.
Exactly.
And so that's why one has to be careful of one's actions, what one does on earth. Okay, so even 12th house gives you that sense. Okay, one day this is going to happen, so that's why be careful. Otherwise, that's why a lot of people don't have any reason for doing the right actions, but they'll say, why? What's the
Yeah.
point?
And they lie and they try to cover it up, and they
Yeah.
think if nobody saw it, then it didn't exist. But it's like that data that you were talking about, that's always in there, and it's always stored. And
Yeah, it's much more than the big brother they are afraid of out here, which is seeing things.
Yes.
There is much more bigger brother in the universe, which is seeing everything is recorded and everything is.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when the people are complaining about that thing, it's very laugh-worthy that they
That's a funny way to think of it.
Yeah, because the amount of data which is there outside, which is every little action in every possible
Yes.
way, an angle being stored somewhere, is much more of a data thing. That's an ocean of data, like compared to.
Is that storage location the Akashic records, or is that something else?
Yeah, that's what it's called nowadays in English, Akashic
Got
records.
it. Okay.
Yes, yeah, that's what the modern term for it is.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. So, like in a Vedic term, it will be called Chitragupta's files. Chitragupta is the being who is in charge of that file.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
that's yeah.
Beautiful. Was there anything else that you wanted to share about the series?
No, just like that, people should see the whole thing in that thing to get a sense of the thing, as a whole, like so that they get a picture of. Basically, it's to teach people how to live only, Jyotish. Okay, in the end, like they should live a meaningful life, and they should do positive actions for evolution, right out there. Use all the houses and all of the actions of different houses in the right way, in order to exit here in a better state than when they came. Like improved, evolved. Like that's the whole point of life. If you don't do that, like there is no point of existing unless you are evolving or, that thing moving forward, like and moving upwards, basically.
Exactly.
So,
Like you said, we're always ascending or descending.
yeah. So that's the whole point. So I've tried to give the whole 11 houses 12 houses in a way, how to use each one in a way which will evolve you, like, rather than devolve you, like, like any house, if you get caught in it, can devolve you, like in a wrong way. So the real lesson here is to understand the energies, utilize them in the proper way, and then obviously, if you are disciplined enough, break out of this particular that thing. For those who want to, and those who don't have that goal, they should at least improve and raise their level. So that's my final word on.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, we are so grateful for you sharing this wisdom with us. It's such profound, life-changing wisdom. I hope that all of you are inspired by PT and his sharings. I hope that you reflect on your own life and see where you can improve these energies. If there's an area in your chart where you're getting hung up and you're just not able to really flow with it, implement PT and his teachings and over for you to overcome and to benefit and evolve from each house, so that it's not a hindrance towards you, but instead it's a collaboration and a working together for your evolution.
Yes.
All right. Well, sending you all so much love and light.